After filming videos for a year now, and having this one being long overdue, I still don't really have any good lighting props. So I'm basically using the light that we use out in our living room, and it's made my room super orange, but I'm not really arguing much about that because it fits for this this video's theme, which is the fire sign of Sagittarius. But yes, I'm very well aware that the inside of my room looks like it has been spray tanned to death, but it's the best that I've got right now. And I still suck at introductions, so let's just get right into this video. If you are someone whose birth date falls between November 22nd through December 21st, then congrats! That makes you a Sagittarius. The most common words to describe Sagittarians are optimistic, jovial, self-indulgent, philosophical, and of course, adventurous. Just like Gemini and Virgo, Sagittarius is also a mutable sign. Once again, mutable signs are ones to blend in effortlessly to new environments and new changes. They are not like the fixed signs where they will either focus on what's familiar to them or focus solely on what they want. Mutable signs are more focused on what new thing is around the corner and are very fluid. Only difference between the three is that Gemini is of mutable air, which brings about versatility and unpredictability, while Virgo is of mutable earth, which brings about inspection and flexibility. Sagittarius is of mutable fire, and mutable fire energy brings about eagerness and enthusiasm. When I think of the sign of Sagittarius, I think of bright and bubbly energy. Real go-getters. These folks are ones to take the world by storm. They are continuously seeking to set these paths out for themselves. And most often, they want it to be a never-ending journey. They are not the type that will just stick with one thing for the rest of their lives. Whether it is regarding the home they currently take residence in, or the career they are currently making a living from. No. They want to experience as many adventures and opportunities as much as they possibly can. And like I mentioned before in my fire sign video, they are known as the archer for a reason. When you go to shoot an arrow, you are expecting it to fly on by, far away from you, landing somewhere else, not staying where you are currently standing, unless you need to work on your aim. Sagittarians are also the ones that are up for anything, and they love to challenge themselves. If something is too easy or simple for them, they become very bored and impatient. Basically, if you are hanging out with a Sagittarius, always have something planned and make sure it's something fun. Otherwise, it will end up being quite a long time before they ever get in touch with you again, unless you're on to something there. The next thing you need to know about Sagittarians are that they are the epitome of positivity. No other sign can be on their level when it comes to positive thinking. They are ones to always think that no matter what, something good will always come around. They always manage to see the silver lining in every cloud. Even when they have days where they feel down on their luck, they manage to quickly bounce right back. This is what helps keep them from being stuck in a rut. It is what helps keep them moving forward. Basically, it's their saving grace. They also always need something to look forward to, otherwise they will end up feeling listless and purposeless. Now, you can't have the good without the not so good, so with that said, I'm now going to dive into the tea. Sagittarians are not the most committed. And I'm talking about with anything, I'm not just talking about relationships. This, of course, does not mean that all Sagittarians are like that, because ultimately it does come down to what else is in one's birth chart. But the archetype of Sagittarius does have that reputation. And coming from someone who has been able to draw in Sag suns like a magnet since childhood, I can vouch on that. And I love you guys, by the way. No hate at all. I'm just doing what you guys also appreciate, which is speaking the truth, which we will discuss in a minute. Examples of them acting this way would be, for instance, ditching you to go hang out with someone else who they consider to be more fun, even though you guys made plans already. Or ghosting you out of the blue until many, many weeks later and then pop right back up like a mole as if nothing happened. They don't pull these stunts because they have a mean streak or anything like that. They just have a tendency to not really think about how their actions might affect other people. And they also tend to not really see things through and will just put things off to the side. They're just ones to go on their own way, and they don't like being tied down to things just for the sake of somebody else's convenience. With Sagittarius moons, there is the need for variety. Like I mentioned earlier, Sagittarius energy does not like to just stick with one thing or even just a couple of things. But because the moon amplifies the energies of a sign more than the sun does, the need for this is greater. So, with that, Sagittarius moons tend to be, or would like to be, the jack of all trades. They want to have experience in as many things as they can that they take an interest in, which is a lot. They also have a huge thirst for knowledge. You know those types of people that have countless certifications or degrees in things that don't really relate to one another? Yeah, assume they have a Sag placement. Considering that Sagittarius is the sign that embodies higher education, which also explains why they can be so philosophical at times, it makes sense. Sagittarius moons also have a strong leaning towards independence. They are definitely not the type that you would see leaning heavily on other people for support or would tolerate other people leaning on them. They enjoy their freedom. They end up feeling suffocated when they feel as though people are crowding in around them. I personally know someone who has a Sagittarius moon who has been together with her high school sweetheart for nearly 20 years now. They are happily married with a kid, but when it comes to traveling or going on vacation, she prefers going on solo trips. These are instances for her where she can really have some time to herself to do some self-reflection and to have some of that quiet time. She's a Cancer sun with an Aquarius rising, by the way, if anybody cares to know. Speaking of traveling, these guys are big explorers. Sagittarius energy is all about having that adventurous spirit, and Sagittarius moons really embody that role. They are ones to really broaden their horizons. They want to breathe in the atmospheres of all the different parts of the world. And they also want to learn and experience all the different types of cultures around the globe. This is also why they are such great storytellers. Because not only are they experiencing all of these different types of things that the average person doesn't get to experience, but because along these types of journeys, you meet people. And a lot of people have their own interesting personal story to tell. And thanks to Sag moons, these stories get passed along. Also, be careful on what you tell them because they're not the best secret keepers. First, I have to say that your rising sign is what helps show you your chart ruler. A chart ruler, or rulers, shows us the theme, or themes, that reoccur most often in our lives. Examples of these themes can include romance, they can include traveling, they can include career opportunities, and they can even include family roots. Your chart ruler is based on what the ruling planet is to your rising sign. So, in that case, people who have a Sagittarius rising have Jupiter as their chart ruler. Meaning, the energies that come from Jupiter help play part of a vital role in that person's life. There's more to it than that when it comes to chart rulers, but for now, we are keeping it simple. Individuals who have a Sagittarius rising are ones that are best described as being happy-go-lucky. It's very easy for them to feel enthused and excited even when it comes to the little things in life. Even when upset, it doesn't take long for them to start to feel cheerful again. They are also ones to look at the big picture rather than own in on the details. For example, they don't mind that much if they go to a concert where the weather is cold and rainy. At least they got to see their favorite band. Or if they go to a birthday party where there is terrible food and mediocre entertainment. At least they got to see some of their friends. Again, positivity. This also ties into how they are such big, eager beavers. They end up becoming one of the most impatient people you will ever meet. If you've made plans with them that I would assume involve something fun, they can't wait. Even if it's just a week or a day away, that's too long for them. They want it to happen now. There's also themes of self-indulgence with this placement, all thanks to being ruled by Jupiter, which we will dive more into in a separate video. But because this sign loves so many things, it cannot get enough of them. There is also no such thing as moderation with these guys. They can get quite excessive. When they go out, they go all out. And it's hard for them to put on the brakes. Remember when I mentioned earlier on how Sages have an appreciation for the truth? Yeah, let me dive more into that. So basically, to start off, Sag risings can be pretty candid. I wouldn't say they're brutally honest like how a Scorpio would be, but they are not sugarcoaters either. And again, they don't act that way to make people feel bad about themselves or anything like that. They do it because they want people to realize the hidden truths about themselves, even if it will be an emotional experience for that other person. They can kind of be pushy about it, but they basically do this so that you can become the best version of yourself that you can be. The final thing I want to talk about is the physical appearance of a Sagittarius rising. As mentioned a moment ago, one of the things that your rising sign helps give influence in is the way we look. And of course, depending on the individual, this may or may not pertain to them. As a matter of fact, if your rising is not Sagittarius, but you have either a Sagittarius sun or a Sagittarius moon, some of these physical traits could still apply to you. But generally, these distinct physical traits include a bright pair of eyes, meaning their eyes are typically filled with wonderment and curiosity. They're also known for having a curvy yet athletic build, and finally, a smile that lights up the whole town. And that, my astro babies, is my interpretation for the big three placements of Sagittarius. And like I said before, this video is long overdue. It's been like 5 months. So I didn't take a hiatus because I decided to quit or it didn't feel like I wanted to do it anymore. I still very much wanted to make videos, but just schedule conflicts regarding my personal life and what was going on at my work, those were basically the two things that had been stopping me or preventing me from filming sooner rather than much later. And that is actually something for 2022 that I definitely want to get more consistent at, because I do have a lot of other ideas for my videos that I'm excited to share with you guys. But as always, until a new video comes up, you can always check me out on Twitter and Instagram. I am on Instagram more than I am with Twitter. I have been more active in posting astrology horoscopes, particularly with the moon transits. So whenever the moon goes into a new sign every other day, like it always does, I always post little tiny mini readings. So if you want to go check that out, it'd be very much appreciated. And also, since my channel is still very much slowly growing, I appreciate anyone who's come across my channel, anyone who's taken the time to want to, learn about astrology from my words, my own interpretation. I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate all the likes, all the shares, all the views that I've been getting, so it really, really means a lot to me. But I will see you soon in my next video where I will be going over the big three placements for Capricorn. So until then, be sure to like, be sure to share, and until then, take care.